Michelle's Pearls of Wisdom. I am here with the beautiful Aundrea, and she is AKA.
Mocha Mischief.
I love her name. She doesn't like it. I love it. You said it all like, I love it. I think it fits her personality. I've been talking to her for about like an hour so far, and
Right?
time goes fast when you're having fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
And
yes.
she is my 21st interview, and she is lovely. I cannot say that I know her personally yet, but I can say after I've talked to her for this hour that I want to get to know her better. Very vibrant personality. She's a sweetheart. She's from California, right?
Yep. California.
Yep, sunny California.
Yes.
Oh, and we're in cold Chicago.
Yeah, you guys got the hawk out there. Yeah, I heard about the hawk. We got the bald parakeet.
Yeah, we cold. So I just want to kind of start with some basics with you and just kind of let the audience get to know you on a little bit more personal level like I have. So how old are you?
We just jumping right into that. Okay.
We don't dip our toe in. We just jump right in, baby.
Okay, then I guess it's too late to lie. I'm 44 years old.
It depends on how quick you can think on your feet.
I told you the truth, so I was like, you'd have been like, what?
I'm with it. I'm a ride or die. I would have been like, next question.
Well, see, I should have had one queued up. I had to think too hard. So, okay, yes, I'll be honest. I'm 44. Still make me say it.
I was gonna say she is beautiful, and that you would not black don't crack, so you would have a hard time out there to just know how old either one of us are. So we can play that game too. The guess the name, guess the age game. But so how long have you been in pinup?
Wow. It's an interesting story because as far as pinup photography and doing photo shoots and things, that started in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was doing this way before that.
Have you?
So I don't know if you want me to elaborate or not. I have no idea.
Well, I mean, today you look very pinup, and I know you said that this is the stuff that you have in your very own closet. This is something that you would just wear out normally. She says she loves her bows and her flowers and her hair. So this is something that you don't just do for like the pinup like contests and stuff. This is just your way of life. This is how you like to rock it.
Yes, this is kind of just how I look. Obviously, COVID-19 is really messing with my sexy, but because I do walk around looking a little crazy sometimes. But yeah, I mean, and that's really how I got into the whole pinup thing. My whole goal was never to get into pinup. My whole goal was never to get into all of those things. As a matter of fact, I didn't realize that there was a community of women that were doing this. I kind of always been this way. I just have more money now. When I was a kid, I was raised by a lot of really old souls, and I was always around a lot of older people. And so like my great aunt, she was older when I was born. I mean, she's probably in her 60s, but her whole house was 1940s because that's when she was younger. So, I mean, she had some of the most amazing antiques, but at the time they weren't just antiques. To me, they were just her stuff. Yeah. So I didn't really see it for what it was because I was like a kid. I'm throwing a ball in the house past stuff that now you almost can't get. And so, yeah, I mean, I started out with that, and I just kind of had that love for antiques and for vintage and retro because that's what I was raised around. And I wasn't able to really get that stuff as a kid because I can't afford it as a kid. So I'd have hand-me-downs from her, and there'd be little things that she would just give me. And it wasn't until I got to be an adult that I realized that, I really like that. I feel much more at home dressing in a very retro fashion. When I would try to keep up with the trends, it just never quite looked right on me. It just never quite matched what I was going for. So I started dressing retro. Now we call it pinup, but it was kind of what I was doing. And then I found, the different spots that we all know about now, the different retailers. I was like, wait, they're still making clothes like that? Shut the front door.
Yep.
So I started collecting that stuff, and I would wear it for special occasions originally. And then it was like, okay, well, special occasions are all great, but yeah, you feel great, but don't you want to feel like that all the time?
All the time.
And I'm just like, well, yeah. So then I started doing it every day, and it just kind of it's the way I dress. And then somebody saw it and said, I want to do a photo shoot with you. And that's how it started. It was not that I was aiming for it.
So you kind of fell into this life.
I fell into it. Yeah. And so I don't honestly seek it out.
But you know what? When you got in, did you feel like you found your place? Like now you have a tribe of people that all are kind of like you and have like the similar attitude of like they just love the vintage style, they just love the vintage era.
I think yes and no. It was lovely. Like, I did go to Viva, and when I did finally get there, to see all of these people who are so into this and dressed, and then some of the clothing and just the way people were, I was like, wow, that's awesome. I love the fact that we all appreciate the fashion. We all appreciate those things. But I never really felt like I was at home with the people. I always still kind of felt like an outsider. So yeah, I could probably somewhat dress the part, and I was still learning my own personal style and whatnot, but it wasn't so much. I mean, I have great friends in the community, but when I first got in, no, I did not feel like I found my people. I felt like I found my people who like to dress like me. So yeah, that was really more of what it was.
Okay. So that's interesting because you and I have had different experiences, like, but also you got into the scene a lot earlier. So yes. I'm super new. So of course, hopefully over the years, everything kind of evolves and gets a little bit more accepting, a little bit more diverse, a little bit more, a sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that, and not be so saturated with just one type of look, I would say. Yeah. So I might be in it when it's a little bit more diverse. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, as we talked off camera, I still feel like it's really not represented very well, at least for the African American community. I just don't see us representing, which is really sad because one of the first pinups was actually a Black woman. It actually is a African American heritage that I don't like to say when people steal from other cultures and stuff of that nature, but sometimes it is the truth behind it that we will come up with something, or we will have something that we've made our own, and then the next thing you know, we're almost like eased out of it, where we're not even really part of it anymore. So it's a little disheartening when I started doing my research and looking up things and wanting to find more information about the pinup scene because I'm so into it, and find out that this is something that really originated with the African American culture, and now there's only like a few of us amongst thousands. There's maybe 100 among thousands of women in this community, right. And that's sad, and it's sad. Like I don't know any better word to use except for it's really sad.
Yeah, I mean it is, and I think when I think about I can see the sun coming over and just completely enveloping this light. Anyway,
I love it now because now you got like a glow.
No, I'm sitting there going, okay, the light is reflecting the sunlight and its own light, and there's a lot happening right now. But I might have to get up and change that. However, when I think about swing dancing, I think about the swing dancing that you saw, say Harlem Renaissance style. The sun is moving fast. And that was all us. It was all Black people doing that. And now if you go to a swing dance event, you almost don't see any Black people. And I think that there's a lack of knowledge of, the things that we may have originated. So I think that there's that we're also dealing with. I think that there's a lot of people don't know. I can't tell you how often I've had people say to me, well, you can't be a pinup because pinups aren't Black.
Yeah, you're like the third woman I've talked to of color now who's actually said where they were told that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, and here's the thing that's crazy. It'd be your own people. because that's who's saying it. It's not
Yeah.
anyone else. It's, people that look like me that will say, well, you can't do that because
Yeah.
that's not what Black girls do.
Right.
Well, we're not all the same, first of all. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad. I think a lot of it just comes down to not knowing that we can do it, and that it actually originated. A lot of the things originated with us.
Yeah. Like it was amazing. I was almost like devastated when I found out that Betty Boop was a Black woman.
Oh, I was happy because people have been calling me Betty Boop for years.
No, devastated in the reason why I never knew. So growing up, I loved me some Betty Boop. I loved the cartoon. I had the purses, the backpack, the little bed sheets that went to like my whole entire bedroom set.
Mm-hmm.
And then all these years, I thought that this was based off of a white character, whatever. Right. And then to find out that this is actually an African American woman. Mm-hmm. Even the song behind the boop boop doop is like sung by a Black woman. And I would have never known that. And that would have been so cool as a little Black girl growing up to have one of my favorite cartoons that I love. That I used to beg my mama to go give me all the matching this and the pin. Like I used to make my mom want to shoot me in the face because I used to be like, oh, Mom, can I please have this one too? Please, please. And now to know that this whole time I actually idolized and loved someone that was actually me, but
and maybe there's something in you that knew that, something in you that felt that. Maybe
it had to be. I don't know why else I would even have fell in love so much. I mean, it goes back to like how Cleopatra was portrayed by Elizabeth Taylor. It's kind of like it's so saturated in another heritage that the original cannot even shine through anymore, and that's what's sad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I wonder if I should close that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it is now making things crazy. It's like it is beaming over here. Okay.
This is what happens when you're in sunny California.
Yeah, exactly. When you're in sunny California, yes, sometimes the sun betrays you.
Yes. So, I'm so happy today to talk to someone who's been in the scene for a while. Just to kind of give us a little bit more background on just you too. When you were growing up and everything, did you ever experience any other kind of, I would say, colorism or any kind of other racism from just growing up?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think, I mean, growing up, I grew up in the Bay Area. I grew up in San Jose, and where I grew up, there weren't very many people that looked a lot like me. So like I would see critical mass, say, when I went to church with my parents. But just being out on the street, it's not like you're passing a lot of Black people. Now living where I live in Fremont. Fremont, I think, is 3% Black. So yeah,
that's not very many either.
Not very many, and there's only like 270,000 people that live in Fremont anyway. 3% of that. So it's not that many people. Yeah. I can go and then the area I live in the town is an older part of town, and it is not very diverse. So yeah, I can go days, and unless I look in a mirror, I don't see a Black person. Oh, so yeah, it's so I've definitely dealt with some racism, prejudice, colorism, all of it, you name it. Yeah, definitely.
I know what colorism is, but for people who have never heard of that term, because it's kind of a newer lingo that's being said these days, it's not something that's older. Can you explain what colorism is?
Sure. Colorism, and I think the older word for it was color struck, was it was this stratification within the Black community. So it was not just that you are Black, but amongst Black people, how light are you or how dark are you? So never mind what mainstream culture and mainstream society is thinking, there was also having to deal with people who look like you, but feel like yeah, you might be too dark for this, or you're too light for this, or you're light skinned and you got good hair, so you'll be fine. I remember having one of my father's friends who was from the South look at me, and he said, when I was a little girl, well, it wasn't little, I guess I was about 13, and he said, yeah, you might do all right with the boys. You almost light skinned, so you might do all right. To say something like that to a girl who's about 13 years old, who's still developing who she is, she's still developing her identity. For her to hear something like that, what does that do to her? And there are still our parents and generations behind us that will still say stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's really unfortunate that exists. That is a dark side of the Black community. That there is
no pun intended.
No pun intended. But that there are a lot of people that are stuck on not just you're Black, but how Black are you?
How Black are you?
Yeah. Are you light skinned? Are you brown skin? Are you red bone? Are you yellow bone? Are you dark skin?
High yellow.
And at the end of the day, it's like we're all Black. It doesn't matter. And then there's if you don't fit into a certain stereotype of what someone thinks you should be, whether they be Black or white, then what are you mixed with? Because I get that a lot. What are you mixed with? Black and African American, because that's what my parents are. So nothing. So yeah, that's the colorism that I think Black people in general deal with.
You're absolutely correct. I like to ask that question because, like I said, it's a newer term, but it's been around forever. Just to kind of give a little bit more to what you said, it goes all the way back to slavery and the house Negro and the field Negro. If you were dark skinned, you were in the field. If you were light skinned, you got to be in the master's house, because the lighter you are, the whiter you were, and the darker you are, the more wrong you were. So it's like, So unfortunately, as a whole, as people, I feel like we have kept that adaptation of how we're supposed to be in society of rank. Yeah. And now we actually rank our own people, and that is why we now have colorism, where we have so much hate and so much negativity just amongst our own race and our own people. And unfortunately, I can go on and on about this in just society. We're going to pinpoint it into the pinup community, but it goes on in everything we do. We're just narrowing it down to one little nugget. Right. That is one thing that I was speaking to you about before, that when I was trying to make my way into a pinup of color group, I felt like it was almost like pulling teeth to get accepted, to feel wanted, to feel like, hey, I'm a real introduced kind of person. Like, I'm like, hi, my name is Michelle, nice to meet you. And it was kind of like I was getting resistance. I wasn't getting but then when I did go to the more Caucasian side of the pinup world, I got very much embraced. I got, hi, how are you? Oh, it's so glad to meet you. You're just so beautiful. Like, I just got so much more of a warm acceptance than I got from my own sisters, my own people. And I was just kind of like, why is that? Like, I understand that there's going to be, static when you're new. I get it. Like, if you're new, people want to fill you out. But honestly, I didn't get that feeling. I just didn't.
Yeah, I wonder too if there's a sense of competition, because for so many things, there can only be one Black this, there can only be one Black that. The same way that people used to pit Rihanna and Beyonce against each other. Not that, you know what, they're both awesome, let them be awesome, but which one's the best? And I wonder if there might be some of that competition to be the top one. And this may be a pervasive feeling of, we can't just all shine.
Right.
There may be that. I don't know. I mean, I didn't try to get into, because I didn't know that there was a Black pinup community. I had no idea. I have been flying under the radar, just staying out of everybody's way and sitting there watching. Right. So yeah, but as I've become more involved, I do see in some places that there are. I mean, I've been fortunate in that the people I've run into have been really cool people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I need that group introduced to me.
Happily,
Like,
happily.
I am because I am a an entrepreneur myself, and I like to pay it forward. So if I'm going to interact with someone and let's say we just run in like different circles, but your circle can use your services or my circle can use your services, I will be happy to take your business card or your information and
Right.
pass it along and keep helping you grow. Because ultimately, if I help you grow, that ultimately can help me grow because then you're going to have more connections to connect. Like, I just don't understand, like, as African Americans, sometimes you don't get that networking, that like how
Mm-hmm.
you can't build a pyramid with just one person. You
Right.
gotta have that foundation to help one of us get to the top. Because guess what? You get one of us to the top, they can pay it forward to the people on the bottom. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't understand that. We don't understand that to lift one of us actually kind of lifts us as a whole. We don't get it. And
Well, and that's where you get that whole crabs in a barrel theory that, it seems to infiltrate lots of things that the Black community may try to do because instead of grabbing someone's hand to hold their hand so we can everybody, let's move up,
right.
they're static. There's issues and people don't want to help other people succeed because they feel like it might get in the way of their own success. And that's not really how it works.
No, I mean, I have you on my show, and it's not like I am trying to be like, well, let me be one up on her because she has nice cleavage and I'm flat chested and I am not wearing very pretty makeup. I'm just kind of like thrown on because it's 9 o'clock at night here. Like I could totally try to do that with you, but honestly, I think that you're gorgeous and I don't need the attention because one Black gorgeous woman shines so bright on all of us. And that is just the truth. So it's kind of like, I don't feel the need to compete with you. I
Yeah,
feel the need to congratulate you, though, because you
and
look
there's also,
good.
yeah, there's also good bras. I mean, so it's a thing, I mean, and I'm willing to share that with the world. I mean, anybody who asks me, I will tell you exactly how it happened. So, I mean, I'm not trying to hold other people back by like, well, this is proprietary information.
Give me the secret. That's what I want. If I have a secret for you, I'm going to tell you because guess what? I want people to be empowered. I don't want us to feel
Exactly.
weak. Like, why would that be a good look for me to say, oh, my brothers and sisters are beneath me? How does that make me feel? Great, I made it to the mountaintop, but I'm by my damn self.
Right.
How?
Everybody else is struggling. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like booking a party for one. It's like, no, I want people to be with me. I want to enjoy my party together. I don't want to be solo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, the more people I think that way, the better off we'll be. It's just getting everybody to get to that mindset that we help ourselves by helping each other.
Yeah. And women of color need to realize how beautiful we are. I feel like when I get dressed up, I don't know about you, you can tell me, but sometimes when I'm getting ready to go out and I'm going to the club or I'm going to like an establishment that I know is going
Okay.
to be heavily populated with Black women,
Mm-hmm.
I feel the need to put on the best appearance. Not because I'm going to try to impress a man, not because I want to look good for the fellas. It's because I know in my heart I'm going to get looked from head to toe and I'm going to be dissected from head to toe, from how my hair looks to my eyebrows to the toes if they curl over the side of your shoe and they look like they're claws. Like, I'm going to get all of that.
Oh, yeah. My mom used to tell me when I was growing up, she said, you know what? Women don't dress for men. Women dress for other women. Because men don't care that your nail polish and your toenail polish match, but
No.
women do. Other women will look at the girl. Did you see her got on violet nail polish and her toes is green? What was she thinking? Women
Right.
are those things. That's why we pay attention to. We don't dress for men. If they enjoy it, great. But we women dress for other women. Me personally, I see that, but I also dress for me. If somebody else likes it, great. But I have to be happy with who's walking away from the mirror.
Right.
But yes, women look. Yes.
Yes. And one day I went to a club and there was this woman. It was her birthday because she had like the little crown on,
Uh-huh.
and she was just like a group of her girlfriends. And this lady is about as wide as she was tall. So she
Wow.
was a bigger lady, okay? And she had like the very round apple shape.
Okay, yeah.
Well, her friends let her leave out the house in a neon blue tube top dress. So if you can imagine that body figure in a tube top skin dress, okay, all her girlfriends around her looked good as hell. Was put together. Everybody, and they weren't skinny or nothing. They were thicker, but they wore the right type of clothes that made them look nice.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how you gonna let the main girl, your main girl, come out the house looking like a blueberry while y'all look like, you know, that that's crazy to me. Like, you represent me too. I don't want to go out looking like we're with the Chiquita banana head fruit lady. I don't want that. I want you to look good like I look good. But these girls sat up here and let her girlfriend look like this in public. And I'm like, see, y'all wrong for that. Because you knew that she should have went out looking like that. Y'all wrong.
I mean, I want to hope that maybe they tried to tell her and she was like, it's my birthday. I'm doing what I want to do. I'm YOLO. Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic. I mean, maybe she was just feeling herself that night. I mean, and
a good friend would have pulled her aside
and said, sis, you're right. You're right. You're right. A good friend would have said, sis, I know you're feeling that dress. I know you're feeling it. However, I feel like, yeah, you're right. A good friend would have let her know.
Right. Because then you have to make that person realize we're not doing this to hurt you. We're doing this because we love you. Mm-hmm. But like you said earlier, sometimes I feel like women get in the mindset that someone can't look better than me. I don't want her to outshine me. So instead of making you guys all look good as a whole, they rather
let somebody drag them down. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And that's what I have a problem with. I have a problem with that in the African American community. I feel like even with men, they can't see another man succeed as well. They have a little bit of a problem with that because if they make more money, if they're higher on the food chain, that gets messy too. So it's not even just women. I don't want people to watch this and be like, oh, it's just a black woman. No, this is in our culture as a whole. I don't know how it was for you in high school since you grew up with mostly, I would say, Caucasians, right?
No, actually, the high school that I went to was about 89% Latino. Latinx.
So how was that? Do you feel like you was able to fit in that environment, or do you feel like okay?
No.
So did you ever have a moment in your life where you belonged?
No, not really. I don't know if it had. I mean, I was always the nerdy kid, so I was the one that was sitting in a corner with a book. So there was a lot of that. So like high school dances, I think I went to 3 high school dances. I was usually reading something somewhere. So like a lot of people I think knew me or knew of me, but I don't know that I had a tribe, especially not in high school. I didn't even start dating until I was 19. And my parents were pretty strict, so they were like, you're not going to be dating very, very young, so you're going to be 16 before you date. But when I was 16, wasn't nobody trying to date me. My mom was pretty much still doing my hair in pigtails. So, yeah, I didn't.
She wanted you to stay young looking.
She was making sure wasn't nobody trying it. So.
She's smart. She's smart though.
Looking back, I'm like, well played, Mom. Well played.
Right. Touche.
Exactly. However, it made me into a super late bloomer. I didn't really start to bloom until I was really into my early 20s because I never had the opportunity. And I moved out on my own when I was 19. So I didn't have that opportunity to try all those different things as a teenager. And, my parents did not play that, period. So no, and I think part of it has its good days and it has its good points and bad points. I think the bad points are, you don't have that tribe of people. I've always had, friends, close friends, whatnot, but like a tribe of people who were all on the same age. And I don't think I've ever really had that. The good thing about that is I could march to the beat of my own drum. And everybody who knew me was like, that's just her. That's her. And, I got comfortable with the idea of just doing things on my own and doing things because I like to do it, and to heck with what you say, because I have no one to measure up to. I have
Right.
no peer pressure friends to make me do and conform to what everybody else is doing, because I'm doing my own thing. So it made it easier when I decided to start dressing pinup 24/7, because it's not like I had a bunch of girlfriends around me going, "Girl, what you doing?" There was nobody around. I could just do what I wanted to do, and people either got used to it or they didn't. So
It,
yeah.
like I almost teared up when you were talking about like I just learned to just do me and do my own thing. Did you ever like with you not feeling like you've ever been in a tribe or feel like you belong, did you
Mhm.
ever have any moment where you had like that self hate?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call it straight up hate, but I think there's definitely some low self-esteem, going there, where you're just like, how come I don't fit in? How come, everyone else seems to be having such a wonderful time doing these things, and I'm not really doing that. I think there was definitely some of that. And I think that some of that is normal. I think as we try to figure out our identity and our place in this world, and try to figure out, who it is that we ultimately want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely happened, where you just that depression of, and especially as at myself, at the age I am now, all of my girlfriends are off getting married and they're all having babies and all these things, and I wasn't doing that. I was working on my career. I was doing things, great things in my career, but the other parts weren't happening. So that definitely caused some, like, okay, what am I clearly doing wrong? And then at a certain point, I just have to, there are times where it gets on my nerves, there are times where it bothers me, but at a certain point, I have to go, everything in its time.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I saw this really cute meme where it's like, God, I'm not really trying to rush you. I'm not. I'm just respectfully asking for a tracking number so I can follow when my blessing gets here. That's all I'm asking. It's that sort of thing. It's like, you can't rush it. Whatever happens, happens, and you just gotta push through that and be you. And there are days you're gonna wake up and be like, you don't like you, and you don't like anybody else,
Yeah.
and just know that that too will pass.
Oh, well, I think that this is a great actually segue into like getting to your pearls of wisdom.
Okay.
Because I mean, you kind of just dropped us a little bit of a pearl just now, because a lot of us women, especially of the African American community, we have all kind of felt the way that you have felt, um, the not belonging, not having someone that looks like you, acts like you, maybe talks like you, and then just kind of going throughout the world, just kind of feeling like a drifter or a loner, because it's
Yeah.
just sometimes a very lonely feeling. But you are here now. You seem very successful. You're beautiful. You're
Aw, thank
very
you.
vibrant. I like your personality. And you didn't get that way overnight. So if you could just kind of give the people that are watching, maybe the younger little black girls that are kind of like maybe looking at this and saying like, oh wow, there are girls that look like me, have my skin tone, have like, and kind of like give them a little bit of a pearl to like help them make it through the hard times, the times where they don't feel like they belong and don't have someone, so that they can become successful like you.
I mean, and those are all wonderful words, and I'm like so flattered that you even think that. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Thank you so much. I think if I could talk to the younger me, knowing where I am now, knowing what I know now. I was also blessed to have, like you, a very wise mother, and a lot of really wise women in my life. And they get on my nerves sometimes, but they did have some wisdom and some things that still whisper in my ear every now and again. And if I could go back and talk to the younger me, I think one of the things I would say is, no matter what happens, be you, because at the end of the day, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter. Just
Oh,
do
I like that.
do what makes you happy, because the
Yeah.
world is huge and there are so many options for who you can be and who you want to be. And if you can think it, oh my gosh, it can happen. I mean, knowing the background that I came from, and what I decided to do as a career, there were people that were asking me, how would you come into that knowing where you come from? And how do you think you're going to be able to achieve that? And I didn't know how I was going to achieve it. And it was just one of those things where I was like, as a kid, I said I wanted to be a sign language interpreter. I was 9. And they were like, where did you even come up with that? I don't know, but that's what I want to do. How are you going to do it? I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. And I look around today and that's what I do. And there are days where I sit there and I think, gosh, obviously blessings were placed in my way and things were placed right in front of me that, I was able to take advantage of. But I think it also takes being single-hearted and thinking, this is what I want to do. So, and that goes with anything. It goes with the way you dress. It goes with the way you look. You have to keep your eye on the prize. Keep your mind on what it is you're trying to do. There will be people that will step in your way because that's life. There are people that are unhappy with themselves, and nothing would make them feel better than to extinguish your light because you have a plan.
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. So, somebody sees you happily traipsing down the street and they're like, you know what? I can't even traipse no more. So I'm gonna trip you.
Yep.
And that happens, and that's a part of life. And it's a matter of trying as much as you can to roll with the punches. And there are going to be days where you're not going to feel like doing it. There are going to be days you're going to be like, bump this, forget it.
Yep.
And you know what? It's okay to have a day. Give yourself a couple hours. So have that little pity party because you're going to need that. But at the end of the day, you got to get back up and keep going because you have no choice.
Yep.
So, I think that's really what it comes down to. It's hard to always, and you're not always going to believe in yourself 100%. You're not. You're going to have days where you're going to be like, maybe I didn't make the right decision. Maybe I can't do this. That's a normal part of the process. And, just keeping your mind on what you want and looking and thinking, trying to think outside the box of other ways to achieve that.
Yep.
That's what generally gets people through things.
Yeah. So
if I could say that to the younger me, and since I'm not the younger me, but people who might be out there who might be the younger me, I'm telling you guys, it's all part of the process, but you really just got to think about what you want.
And keep it going. Keep
it going.
Keep going. Like, even when you feel like I don't have another thing in me to offer.
I can't go another motherfucker. Yeah.
Yes. You go. You get up and you take that one more step because that 1% might be that one step you needed to get to where you were going.
Exactly. And like learning how to network, I think, is huge for things that you might want to do. The more people that know what you want to do, the more people might be in line to help you. And they may not be people you think can help you. Yep. It might just be the janitor that works at your job, and he just happens to know somebody who knows somebody who has a sister who can.
Yeah, my sister, cousin, mother's auntie said.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, and the more people who know what you're into and what you're trying to do, the more people might be willing to help you. Just never know what's going to come down and where it's going to come from. So, yeah, I think those things are huge. And I think a lot of people don't think about, I think it feels like, to me, younger generations now are like, I see that, I want to be that. But they don't realize all the steps it took to get to that. Beyonce didn't start out being Beyonce either.
Right. It's kind of like, I think that they're a little bit more privileged in the fact that when you look out into society, they don't do a good job of describing how the person got there. Right. It's kind of like Drake's song, I started from the bottom, now I'm here. It's like, you have to realize these people did not wake up one day like, hey, I'm going to be Drake today and I'm going to make all this money. No, it's like they went through trials and tribulations too. They got a lot of doors slammed in their face and a lot of people hung up the phone in their ear. Yeah. They kept going.
Yeah. And I think too, and I think because we have social media, you see the glitz and all that other stuff, but you don't get to see that person behind the scenes. When Beyonce wakes up, she don't look like Beyonce either. So you don't see all that.
Yeah, Beyonce puts a face on, just like everybody.
Exactly. She don't look like that either. And so, it's realizing that there's work involved. No matter what you're trying to do, there is going to be some work involved, and you are going to get no's, and you are going to, face obstacles. But that's all a part of it. All of that is. And it helps you to really appreciate it when you do finally reach that mountaintop. and you look back and you think about, okay, so, you know, that door got slammed, that door got closed, and this person said no. But, you know, you can look at your journey and really appreciate it. Because if you woke up tomorrow and you were where you wanted to be, you wouldn't really appreciate it.
You know, and it's going to be easier for you to lose it because you didn't realize how hard it was to get it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Like, it has been a pleasure. Like, it's been like talking to like a sister right now because
Pleasure
I
has been
mean,
fun.
I feel like we have similar upbringing, which is always nice because once again, it gives me opportunity to relate to someone because even though I've done a million interviews and all the ladies have been absolutely magnificent, they don't all have the same relatability because we grew up different. We have different backgrounds. And so it's nice to have a conversation with someone who has like a little bit of the same background. We both experienced colorism. We both experienced, like, I don't know, I felt at one point I was too dark for my skin. I wanted to be the lighter girl. I wanted to have the nicer hair. And like, I went through all that. And I feel like when I can talk to another woman and they've been through that, it makes me feel like I'm not alone. And that's a great feeling, just to not feel alone. So thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for letting me talk to you and giving me that peace of mind that I'm not alone. And thank you so much.
Not alone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So hang on. But if for all you guys out there, if you guys have not already, hit like, subscribe. If you have any questions for this lovely woman, she is going to be willing to answer them and talk to you about it. If you are a young pinup and you feel like how I felt, maybe you didn't feel as accepted into the Black community, and you really are interested in this lifestyle, you really are interested in like the contest or the vintage look or the clothing, whatever, there are girls out here that are willing to be that big sister, take you in under our wing. And I know I'm willing to, and I know she's willing to. So at least you have two, and you only need that one to start. So you have two already. So you're already doing better than some. So just take that first step, make sure that your crown stays straight, and always put your best foot forward. All right. I love you guys. Bye.